So today we're going to talk about ties, but a really important feature that rarely gets discussed. So when we talk about ties, a defining feature is often tie width, and you'll see ties advertised online being 8 centimetre, 9 centimetre, and there are often debates about what is better, 8.5 or 9.5. And you often hear about people talking about balance. That's something I believe in. I think if you're having a balanced look, which I always go for, I think your width of your tie should be in relation to the width of your lapel. So if, for example, you're wearing an 8 centimetre tie and your lapels on your jacket are 8 centimetre, that always looks smart and balanced. But what I'd also like to talk about is the width at the neck of the tie, which never seems to get discussed, and it's really, really important. If you look at the Rampling Co tie, it has a classic 8 centimetre blade, but also it is quite straight in construction. It doesn't taper into the neck so much, which gives you this really nice 4 centimetre width at the neck. This means how I like to tie my tie with a 4 in hand, you get a really good substantial knot. So when you're looking at ties, maybe look at some ties you have in your wardrobe, lay them out and just look at the neck of the tie, because this to me is as important as the blade. And to get a good knot, I always think you prefer something with a wider neck. So this is another tie. This one's from my Savile Row brand. Also has an 8 centimetre blade, so very classic, but it has a more pronounced taper and much slimmer neck. This is only 3 centimetres. So if it's tied in a 4 in hand, it gives you a smaller knot. So to get a balanced knot, you might want to try a half Windsor. So this is one of my old favourite ties from the early 2000s, and it has a 9.5, almost 10 centimetre blade, so quite wide, as was the fashion back then. But it has quite a tapered at the neck, so it's like a bottleneck shape, so it's very slim here. So even though it's quite wide, when you tie a small knot, you get this contrast between a small knot and a wider tie. This type of shape was very fashionable, sort of mid to late 90s. I still occasionally wear this tie. It's one of my favourite patterns. I do love dogtooth check ties. When I wore it back in the day, I'd wear it with a Windsor knot because I was quite into larger knots with a larger tie. So today, I'd tie it with a small, neat 4 in hand and tend to wear it with a waistcoat so the large blade is hidden. So this tie here has a 7.5 centimetre blade. In a previous life as a tie designer, I was under pressure to do slimmer ties because everyone was getting skinny, fits were getting skinny, lapels were getting narrower. Not my favourite period of fashion, but I had to do a 7.5 centimetre tie for commercial reasons. But what I ensured was the neck was still a decent width, so when you did a knot, it wasn't tiny and lost. So it was a very little taper, 7.5 centimetres, but it's still wearable because the knot looks good. So if you, like me, you prefer a simple 4 in hand knot, I would always look for ties that have a decent width at the neck. That way when you tie it, you get a good balance with the tie blade. Thanks for watching. I hope you found that interesting. Any questions about tie widths and tie knots, put them in the comments below and I will get back to you. And don't forget to subscribe because you'll always find out some interesting facts about menswear here.